Hi everyone, it's Sunday, March 17th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. Starting with the U.S., steer prices in the U.S. were again mainly unchanged this week. Overall, buyers pulled back from purchasing, preferring to wait for APLF, which starts on Tuesday. They're hoping for some market indications to come out of the fair, or maybe to make some better deals in person. Heavy Texas steers were again at unchanged levels this week, and that's $22 for seasonal averages. The cow market actually remains good, with prices steady or better, and most types managed to push upward thanks to good positions and continuing good demand. Combined export sales for the period ending March 7th were 437,700, and that's 26% lower than the previous week. Combined shipments also slipped lower, this time by 4% to 500,700. Looking at estimated slaughter for the week ending yesterday, March 16th, it was a surprising 601,000, which is 3% higher than last week. Now, most people had expected it to remain under 600,000 and to be closer to the previous week's numbers. Turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo says that sellers are already in Hong Kong trying to raise prices. But overall, market conditions aren't favoring this, and that could block negotiations for cheaper selections. Looking at the British market, there were no changes during the week, but there could be some on the horizon depending on what happens in Asia. The 36 plus was stable at 85 cents sterling per kilo, and for Irish sellers, we're still at 90 to 95 cents per kilo in euros. For European bulls, sellers are still asking for more, but no one is paying it. Moreover, competition at the low end of the market is pretty fierce. Reference prices for North German bulls at 40 to 49 kilos are unchanged at 90 to 95 cents per kilo, and South German prices are also stable. Looking at European cows, in general, sellers are pushing higher, but they have yet to bring those prices home. Here, too, the market's waiting to see what happens in Hong Kong. And regarding veal skins, nothing much has changed, and at least that's one sector that's not really dependent on what happens at APLF. In his analysis this week, Andrea looks at how many people are skeptical about any sort of race upward for prices, and he also examines the order situation in Asia and what that means for the market. From South America, editor Ronald Guial reports that the average price of fresh hides is, yet again, 85 cents per kilo in reals, and the reference price of TR1 is unchanged at 65 cents per square foot. In Argentina, some raw materials saw price changes, and some did not. In other news from Brazil, the country's February exports of hides and skins were down by 1.5% compared to January, but they were actually almost 34% higher compared to the same month last year. The data comes from the Secretariat of Foreign Trade of the Ministry of Development, Industry and Commerce and Services, and it was analyzed by the CICB. And that data shows that in the first 2 months of the year, exports were 16.3% higher than in the same period in 2023. And the increases were also almost 20% in area and over 26% in weight. Also in Brazil, footwear exports started the year in decline. In other news from Latin America, Argentina shows that their January footwear manufacturing dropped. And in Mexico, leather product production dropped by 12.8% in 2023. And finally, in Paraguay, in Chaco, work is moving forward for a new refrigerator in cooperation with an Asian capital. That is all we have for this week. Until next week, good night from HideNet.